Star Wars fans and YouTubers, I wanted to go over the practicality of Makashi, the second lightsaber form, also known as the contingency form, and the way of the Islamari. Sorry if I butchered the name. The lightsaber style is loosely based on European fencing styles, particularly with the Ripper saber and the longsword. It uses one hand and it banks itself on dexterity and speed. If agility is applied, it would come off more as a wushu, one-handed wushu broadsword form. And by agility, I mean leaps and somersaults. Practitioners in practicality, practitioners would be very good at disarming and ending fights very quickly. They have to have viper-like reflexes to actually take someone out. Because it is a speed and dexterity based lightsaber form. Most of the practitioners are slim, nimble, and small. Although they can be tall, most of the time they try to work around. They try to work around their tall forms to make up for the fact that this style was really made for medium size and smaller size. The strengths of Makashi is as follows: speed and dexterity for fast strikes, able to take blaster bolts if the assailant is in the front of them, able to take multiple assailants in melee range so long as they're in front of them. And this includes other lightsaber duelists. It is a dueling form that specializes in taking out Shicho masters, and as well as specializing in taking out duelists who are just slow and have poor technique. As I noted, Makashi can be fitted with agility in an effort to not be cornered when fighting an opponent, as well as to get the element of surprise, because not a lot of opponents who are familiar with Makashi would expect someone to use flips and leaps to attack them, similar to what you would see in a Taru. I noted earlier that it could be used in the wushu style one-handed, which revolves around juggling as well as incorporating some martial arts. Even classic Makashi users do incorporate some martial arts, as Count Dooku did when he kicked Anakin away while holding off Obi-Wan. They also have one free hand for incorporating force-based abilities, but also for sucker punching their opponents when they lock their blades with other weapons. Because Makashi user is normally slim and small, it makes it easier to bob, weave, and maneuver around attacks as opposed to meeting them head on. The hallmark of Makashi practitioners is to use tactics that frustrate the opponent into doing something stupid, long enough for them to land the devastating and deciding blow. This martial arts form also specializes at disarming, as I noted, but it also has lethal attacks, most of them being thrust through the torso, because that was designed to pierce the heart. It also is good at prying guards open and moving the blades harmlessly away from them in the form of deflections and parries. If a person tries to turtle up, a Makashi user will simply use their blade to move the other person's blade wide enough for them to make a devastating blow against them, which is what Count Dooku did to Obi-Wan when Obi-Wan attempted to block his attack. He just merely moved his blade out of the way wide enough for him to hit him in the arm and the leg, thus disabling him. Makashi users have various weaknesses. One of them is the fact that Makashi users are often slim and lightweight, that it makes it easier for someone to topple them over. So if they get into a blade frenzy with other lightsaber users that are masters in other styles besides Chi Cho, they can find themselves easily overwhelmed. And if the person is strong, they can knock them on their ass real easy. In fact, one or two hits can easily take that Makashi user down for the count. Because Makashi is dexterity based, there's almost no strength in it, so a person can basically bash through their guard real easily. And finally, well, actually, I want to say finally, the other weakness to Makashi is the fact that it banks itself on thrust and lunge. And if you extend too far, especially if you're tall, you can lose your hand, if not your whole arm. Makashi users have to be careful when being precise in their attacks, because if they go up against another opponent that also bobs and weaves and dodges, they can find themselves open for a split second, which is long enough for a Jedi to remove your hand, or a Sith. As noted before, many practitioners of Makashi are very good duelists, but they are, unless they incorporate force-based abilities into their sequences, they're going to find themselves getting hit by force furies, or should I say force techniques, with no way of combating them. Another thing about Makashi is the person can be cornered, and without agility, the uses of agility, Makashi can be easily cornered and beaten to submission. But Makashi's greatest failure is the fact that it only specializes at beating Shicho and opponents who are extremely poor practitioners of the lightsaber forms. It didn't, in my opinion, and in theory, it didn't die out because of blaster bolts. It died out because it was mostly a non-strength, dexterous type of fighting style. It could not meet the demands of other strength-based techniques such as Ataru, Shien, Juya, and others. Simply put, it was only good against one style. Now, I could name a thousand practitioners from media that fit the bill, from the Musketeers to Zorro, but I think the best display of Makashi from a media character would be Fuhrer King Bradley, as well as Harvey Keitel's The Duelist. Now, when I refer to Fuhrer King Bradley, I'm only referring to when he's using only one sword, not two, because his style kind of changes up. But that's for another video. I'll also be including links to Jinsare to give him credit for where credit's due, as he does a better explanation of what the form is. I'm only explaining how the form would work in practicality, which is it just be nothing more than a sword style that was extremely good at disarming one's opponents. And that's it for this video.